Hey everybody, welcome. Happy Tuesday, or whatever time it is when you're watching this. Lovely to see you guys here. So, I'm going to be talking today about your inner compass, and I'll be talking about how to know what's right for you. So, you're going to be unpacking what your inner compass is and how you access it, the biggest zap to your personal power and how to avoid it, as well as why most people have lost touch with their inner compass and how to reconnect. So, why does your inner compass matter? Why should you care about it? See, it's essential actually for finding fulfillment and avoiding burnout, because if you're making decisions based on what you think you should do or what other people want, then you'll find yourself feeling disappointed and resentful and frustrated and burned out because you're not actually doing the things that light you up. And so, in order for you to do what you truly want, you have to put aside other people's expectations of you and even societal expectations that you may have gotten imprinted with when you were younger, and do what the things that actually make you happy. So, I've had to do this multiple times throughout my life. So before I was a healer, I was a wedding photographer. Before I was a wedding photographer, I was a graphic designer working in a corporate office. And when I was a graphic designer, I liked being creative, but I felt very stifled in this corporate environment. And the work that I was doing, is it fuzzy floating? The work that I was doing, it wasn't fulfilling and it didn't feel significant. I didn't feel like I was doing anything of importance in the world. And so I stayed open and I allowed myself to explore the things that I loved. And at that time, it was photography. And in improving my craft and just doing what I loved and sharing it, I was invited to photograph a wedding. And it went well. I liked it. I learned a lot more about shooting weddings. I shot a whole bunch more. And then a few years later, I had a successful career as an award-winning wedding photographer. And I did that for a lot of years until I felt I got invited into healing for myself when I went through, and many of you guys may have gone through this or may be going through this if you're here, this process of disillusionment, of accessing parts of yourself, parts of the world where things are not aligned, where there's pain happening inside of you or around you, and you're noticing it more and more. And I had a really big awakening in this way where I felt into the pain and suffering of the earth, of animals and animal agriculture, of the human spirit. And at that time, I was drawn to heal. I really needed to find relief from the pain that I felt that I was holding in my heart. And so I went through a journey of self healing with plant medicines, with ayahuasca, and then practicing and studying shamanic Chinese medicine and several other modalities that led me to the path of where I am today. So each step at any point, if I had chosen along the way to not keep going, to not pursue what I loved or what I felt called towards, and instead stay what was familiar and stable and safe, then I wouldn't have been able to grow into the next version of myself. I wouldn't be where I am today. And so that took listening to my inner compass, to the inner guidance that was available to me, like those hunches, those gut instincts of, I need to do this now. And it's not, we're all in varying degrees connected to our inner guidance, to our inner compass. Some of us are really in tune and we're like, oh, this is what I need to do. And others, you may be at a place where you're like, I don't feel a lot beneath my neck. I'm not really connected to my body. I don't get a lot of messages from my body besides maybe pain or fatigue sometimes. And others, you might get messages, but then it's like terrifying, the idea of actually following through on them. So we're all at different levels and stages when it comes to being able to hear our inner compass. And when we do hear it, being able to take action on the guidance that it gives us. So, listening to your inner compass is a process of reconnecting with your body and with your intuition, because your intuition speaks through sensations in your body. It is all woven throughout your body. So, if you're not really connected to your body, you're not going to be as connected to your intuition, to your inner wisdom, and then it's going to be harder to make decisions that are right for you. So, a lot of us growing up, so when we're kids, when we first come into the world, we're all intuitive. We know what we want, we know what we don't want, we don't have any problem voicing that. But over time, we can learn to ignore that, or we can learn to not trust that. So we can learn to ignore it as a way of pleasing other people. So doing what someone wants us to do instead of what we actually want to do. Or we can develop a lack of trust for that because maybe we have a gut instinct that's telling us one thing, and then be an adult or someone else is telling us something different. So, for example, maybe you're a kid and you walk into a room and your mom or your dad, say your mom, you feel this energy of sadness from them. Maybe this like heaviness, because we're all intuitive. Kids are intuitive, they're very open, they feel a lot, they're very sensitive. We ask them, Mom, are you sad? No, honey, I'm great. I'm totally fine. But inside, maybe she really is sad. And so that kid in that moment is hearing, No, I'm fine. Oh, what I'm feeling must be wrong. I can't trust what I'm feeling. And these are kind of unconscious decisions and beliefs that get formed pretty quickly. And so we can go through life not trusting ourselves, not trusting our instincts. And so one of the biggest pieces with that is reclaiming that connection with your body, for one, and then reclaiming that sense of being able to trust what the guidance has for you. It takes faith, especially in the beginning. It takes faith in stepping out into the unknown without a sense of certainty of how everything's going to be, and trusting that that guidance is going to lead you to ultimately the right place, even if you can't see where that is yet. And one of the best ways to approach it is with a sense of responsibility over yourself. So one of the biggest zaps, and I touched on this in the beginning, one of the biggest zaps to your personal power is asking other people to make decisions for you instead of listening to your own intuition. And we can get in the habit throughout our lives of looking externally outside of us for the answers. And so it's a lot of retraining ourselves and learning to go inward to get those answers, because nobody outside of you is going to know what's right for you besides yourself. Nobody can ultimately know besides your soul. Your soul knows the blueprint, knows where you're meant to be going, knows where to go next. Nobody else can tell you that. Even though it can be tempting, it can feel easier, it can feel fun to have someone else tell you, but that deepest truth ultimately comes always from within you, from the messages from your intuition, your body, and from your higher self. And so this is one of the ways that we give our power away, by asking someone else to decide for us. And in doing so, we're handing ownership of ourselves over to another. We're giving our power over to that person. And this goes for asking people to make important decisions for us, as well as making them responsible for the decisions that we make. So if something doesn't go great, oh man, I shouldn't have trusted that person. I knew they gave bad advice. And so this is a form of blaming. And then, of course, when we blame, we hand our power over to somebody else. So it's really about taking ownership for our own decisions, our own thoughts, our own feelings, our own actions. Because when we do that, we take our power back to ourselves. Because, of course, we can't change or control anything outside of us. The only thing that we have power over is how we choose to respond to life. So when we give that away, we're giving over our greatest power. And when we do that, like when I've done that in the past, because we've all been there, I fall into things like resentment and frustrations and feeling powerless to the situation. And the antidote to that is taking ownership for myself, for my decisions, for my life, for my thoughts, for my feelings, because that's where I can change them. That's the only place I can change them, is inside of me. And they've actually done a study of this with two test groups. So they had one test, there are two groups of depressed people. And one group they didn't give any guidance to, and the other group they said, change your languaging from terms like I can't and I have to. Change I can't to I won't. Change I have to I will. And it's a very subtle shift, but you can tell I can't is powerless statement. I won't is using my will. I'm choosing not to. I have to, again, a powerless statement. I will, again, it's using my decision, my personal power of will. And when I did these studies, the group that changed their languaging had a much lower rate of depression after doing so. So even the subtle shift in language shifts the awareness in our mind, because we hypnotize ourselves with our thoughts, with our words, sorry. So when we change our words, we're changing our thoughts, we're changing our mind. And so the subtle languaging shift is enough to help you realize that you have the power that you have. So if you find yourself feeling, getting in places of like frustration, resentment, feeling powerless, feeling hopeless, shift your languaging from I can't to I won't, from I have to I will. And it can sometimes be uncomfortable because it's taking ownership, it's taking responsibility. And responsibility is not always something that's comfortable, but it's also taking back your power. So I assure you that it is worth it to take it back. um, yeah, so I'm going to be hopping off soon, but I'd love to hear from you guys. What has that looked like for you in your sense of connecting with your intuition, with your inner guidance, with your body, and with the decisions and the choices that you make in your life, and reclaiming your power in that. So, for anyone who wants to go deeper with this, we have a live class tonight in the Sacred and Unleashed membership. We're going to be doing an experiential workshop that's all about coming back into your body, because not all of us are fully connected. Some of us are like hanging out outside of our body. Coming back into your body so that you can feel what your intuition feels like, and so that you can learn how to recognize. We're going to be doing all of this, learning how to recognize when your intuition says yes, when your intuition says no, and learning how to access this inner compass that we all have, so that you can make decisions in your life that are aligned for you, so that you can move away from burnout, disappointment, frustration, and move into fulfillment and doing things that energize you, that spark joy, that nourish you in your life. Because this is like such a foundational, simple thing, but it's kind of everything. If you don't have this, then we're just steering the ship blindly and we don't know where we're meant to be going. So this is about being able to shine a light into where are we going, and being able to integrate that into any decision you make in your life, from what should I have to dinner to should I move, to should I marry this date this person, should I shift careers. All of these really big decisions, big and little, you have this inner guidance system available to you. When you learn how to tap into that, you learn how to tap into higher and higher states of consciousness and guidance from your soul, your higher self, from your spirit guides. So this is kind of the foundational step one of learning how to drop into your body and listen to the language of your body and of your intuition and what's meant to be happening next. So if you are interested in joining us in Sacred and Unleashed, just drop yes in the chat and I will happily send you a link where you can learn more and you can sign up. And it's going to be an amazing class, and hope you can make it tonight. All right, everyone, thank you for joining. Great seeing you guys. Sending you my love. Talk to you next time.